Did you know that over 33 million people currently use Microsoft Power Platform monthly, and 25% of them aren't even professional developers? What's their secret to success? Stay with me as we unravel the critical skills you need to join this thriving community of citizen developers and bring your organization into the future. What is a citizen developer and why should you care? A citizen developer might sound like a fancy title, but it's really just a way of describing everyday employees who use low-code or no-code tools, like the Microsoft Power Platform, to create solutions for their organization. These are people who see a problem, think about how to solve it, and then actually create the tool to fix it without needing to know how to code. They're not software engineers or full-time developers, yet they're making apps, automating workflows, and even analyzing data in ways that drive huge impacts. Why does this matter, though? Today's workplaces are filled with challenges. Think about how fast things change. New customer demands, shifting priorities, or just the need to streamline messy internal processes. IT teams are often stretched too thin to address every specific problem, which leaves gaps. But instead of waiting weeks or months for a solution, a citizen developer can step in. They're using tools like Power Apps to design custom applications, or Power Automate to eliminate repetitive tasks. For example, an HR assistant might design an app to track job applicants, saving hours of manual tracking, or an operations analyst might create an automated way to combine and visualize data from different departments. These are real-world examples of how the Power Platform is putting problem-solving right into the hands of people who face these challenges every day. Now, you might be wondering, how does someone without deep technical expertise actually make something that works? Here's the thing. Low-code tools like those on the Power Platform are specifically built to remove the most common barriers to development. Instead of having to write complex coding languages, users rely on drag-and-drop interfaces, pre-built templates, and guided assistance. For instance, building a custom app might simply involve clicking through a series of options to decide how data flows, how it's displayed, and who can interact with it. And if you're still skeptical, there's some fascinating data that shows this approach works on a large scale. Gartner research predicts that low-code application platforms will account for 65% of all app development activity as early as 2024. What this tells us is that citizen development isn't just an experiment, it's quickly becoming the norm for many organizations. So where exactly does this leave IT teams? Are citizen developers stepping on their toes? In reality, the opposite is true. One of the biggest benefits of citizen development is how it bridges the gap between IT and business users. Instead of piling all development requests on an overburdened IT department, citizen developers handle smaller, more specific projects themselves. This leaves IT to focus on critical infrastructure and strategic initiatives. At the same time, many organizations are involving IT in the citizen development process to ensure the technical foundation stays secure and scalable. For example, IT teams often establish guardrails like setting limits on which data sources can be accessed, or they provide approval workflows to ensure that any new app or automation aligns with organizational policy. When done right, citizen development complements IT, enabling better collaboration between technical experts and business problem solvers. Let's take a closer look at how impactful this can be. Imagine a retail company is struggling with inventory tracking. Stores are consistently over-ordering or understocking critical products because their current system is too rigid to adapt to different store needs. Instead of waiting months for an outsourced dev team to overhaul the system, a citizen developer at one of the stores uses Power Apps to create a custom inventory tracker. The solution allows managers to input real-time stock adjustments, automatically syncs with the main database, and even provides analytics on ordering patterns. That's not a hypothetical scenario. Stories like these are happening across industries, from healthcare to logistics, and they highlight how citizen developers aren't just solving small problems. They're bringing in solutions that improve efficiency, reduce costs, and sometimes even create entirely new capabilities for the business. Here's another example. A nonprofit that organizes community events wanted a better way to manage volunteers. Instead of sifting through Excel spreadsheets and text messages, a citizen developer built an app in Power Apps to record volunteer availability, assign shifts, and send notifications. Within weeks, The organization reported that they could manage twice as many events with fewer errors. The nonprofit's IT department had initially been skeptical of letting a non-developer create software, but after seeing the results, they agreed to support further development by integrating the app with the nonprofit's CRM tool. This is a perfect example of how citizen development runs best when IT and business professionals work together. Still, you may be asking yourself, can anyone really learn to do this? The short answer is yes. Microsoft's Power Platform is intentionally designed to be beginner-friendly, but it also offers ways to grow as your skills develop. For instance, Power BI, a tool for creating data visualizations, starts you off with simple dashboards, but also contains more advanced features like DAX formulas for users who want to dive deeper. Power Automate, which is used to build workflows, allows you to start with basic templates like sending an email after a specific event. Over time, you can customize those workflows to automate increasingly complex processes. The best part is that there are training programs, tutorials, and a massive community of users sharing tips and templates to help you along the way. All of this is why becoming a citizen developer can be a career-defining move. Think about it. Companies are constantly looking for employees who can innovate and solve problems. A citizen developer isn't just a problem identifier, they're a problem solver, actively creating tools the organization didn't even know it needed. For career growth, that sets you apart. Your ability to identify challenges, build solutions, and deliver measurable impact makes you an asset in pretty much any field. Imagine walking into a job interview with metrics showing how much time or money you saved your last organization through a solution you built entirely on your own. That's the kind of advantage citizen development provides. But it's not just about individual benefits, it's also about driving innovation across the organization. Low-code tools democratize problem solving. Instead of ideas being limited to a select group of experts, they allow employees across all levels and departments to take part in creating solutions. This unlocks a whole new level of creativity and collaboration. For example, frontline workers might have insights into inefficiencies that upper management or IT doesn't see. When those workers are empowered to create tools that improve their processes, you get faster results and more buy-in because the solutions come directly from the people who will use them. To get started on this journey, it's all about understanding the possibilities and having a clear vision. That's the beauty of the Microsoft Power Platform. It gives you tools to experiment, iterate, and grow your skills. Whether you're someone in finance looking to automate budgeting reports or a team leader trying to improve how your department tracks progress, becoming a citizen developer is about finding solutions that fit your unique role. And the more you learn, the more you'll start to see opportunities everywhere. Tasks you used to accept as frustrating and time-consuming suddenly become automated or simplified. It's like opening a door to a completely different way of working. In the next part, we're going to break down the first critical step in becoming a citizen developer, defining your goals and vision. Because while the tools are powerful, it's what you decide to do with them that makes all the difference. Let's figure out how to start transforming your ideas into real solutions for your organization. Step 1. Defining goals and vision for your citizen developer journey. What's the first thing every successful citizen developer community has in common? A clear, well-defined purpose. Before you open Power Apps, Power Automate, or any of the tools within the Microsoft Power Platform, it's critical to ask yourself why you're doing this in the first place. That purpose, your vision, is what will guide everything you build, ensuring your work is focused, measurable, and impactful. Without it, all the powerful tools at your disposal will feel overwhelming, and the risk of losing direction is very real. Let's talk about why setting this vision matters so much. Think of it this way. If you skip defining your goals, you're setting yourself up for chaos. Imagine starting to build an app without knowing exactly what problem it's meant to solve or who will use it. You might put in hours of effort only to realize it doesn't align with your organization's priorities, or worse, it doesn't even solve the original issue. Beyond wasted time, these kinds of missteps can hurt your ability to gain stakeholder buy-in. Leaders, departments, and team members are far more likely to rally behind and support new initiatives when they clearly understand what you're trying to achieve. So, how do you find your starting point? It begins with identifying specific business challenges you want to address. Look at your organization with a critical eye and ask yourself, what are the repetitive tasks no one enjoys doing? Which data do you wish you could access more easily? Where are customer experiences falling short? These questions will help you pinpoint problems that feel urgent and meaningful to the people around you. And that's key. The best solutions come from solving issues that directly affect your team, your department, or even your customers. For example, maybe a manual approval process for expense reports is causing unnecessary delays. That's a perfect candidate for automation using Power Automate. Or perhaps your sales team is tracking clients through spreadsheets that are inconsistent and hard to update. You could build a centralized CRM app through Power Apps to streamline that workflow. Once you've identified the challenges you'd like to tackle, the next step is turning them into clear, actionable goals. Here's where a little specificity goes a long way. Let's go back to the expense report example. A vague goal might be improve approval processes, but a better defined goal would focus on something specific and measurable, like reduce approval times by 50% by automating key steps in the process. The same logic applies to other areas. Instead of saying, help sales track clients better, aim for something like create a custom CRM tool that updates client information in real time and automatically reports key metrics to leadership. These kinds of goals not only make it easier for you to stay on track, they also make it simpler to prove value to others once your solutions are in place. Now, here's something equally important to keep in mind. Your goals should align with your organization's broader priorities. Even if you identify a valid business problem, you'll struggle to gain support if the issue doesn't resonate with leadership or fits outside the organization's strategic objectives. For instance, if your company has been heavily focused on improving customer satisfaction, you'll have a better chance of gaining momentum by designing tools that enhance customer workflows instead of, say, creating an internal process automation project that doesn't directly contribute to that goal. It's all about framing your work in a way that clearly shows its relevance to the bigger picture. In practice, this requires some communication and a bit of research. Start by reviewing your organization's top priorities. Often these can be found in strategic planning documents, performance evaluation criteria, or internal communications from leadership. If you're not sure how to connect your project's goals with these priorities, don't hesitate to ask for input from your manager or department head. The more alignment you establish early on, the easier it is to gain buy-in down the line. Examples can help make this point clearer. Picture an employee in the customer service department of a mid-sized company. They notice that handling complaints is taking too long because representatives have to pull data from several separate systems. Instead of immediately starting to build a solution, the employee first ties their goal to the company's larger initiative of improving response times. Their specific goal becomes develop an app that consolidates data from 3 systems into one interface, reducing complaint resolution times by at least 30%. Not only does this goal reflect a real need, but it also reinforces the company's strategic focus. When this employee presents their idea to leadership, they're more likely to gain support. It's clear that their solution will deliver measurable results. Another important reason to clarify your purpose is that it sets the foundation for long-term success. Citizen development isn't just about addressing one-off challenges. It's about building lasting habits and a mindset where you continuously look for ways to solve problems and improve existing workflows. When you define goals, it leads to a more organized and systematic approach where every project adds something valuable to your organization. For instance, your first goal might be to reduce repetitive manual tasks, but over time, your vision could expand to transforming how your team collaborates across departments. Understanding this long-term perspective also allows you to create scalable solutions from the start. Let's say your initial plan is to automate a single approval process for your team. If you've clearly envisioned your goal as part of a larger system, you might design the automation in a way that makes it easy to roll out similar workflows to other departments later. This kind of thinking shows leadership that your work has potential beyond its immediate results, which strengthens your case for gaining their ongoing support. Let's pause for a moment and give ourselves a reality check. Defining clear goals and vision takes effort. It's not the most glamorous part of being a citizen developer, and it requires reflection, communication, and sometimes trial and error. But the time you spend getting it right will pay for itself many times over. A well-thought-out vision ensures you avoid common pitfalls like overcomplicated solutions or projects that fizzle out because the context wasn't clear from the beginning. It also helps you communicate better with others in your organization, from those working with you on the project to leaders who need to approve budgets or resources. Think of this step as creating the blueprint for a building. Before you start construction, you ensure your design makes sense, addresses key needs, and aligns with the available space and resources. Without that blueprint, you'd be flying blind and risk putting in a lot of effort for disappointing results. The same concept applies to your work as a citizen developer. It's all about planning with intention. Once you have your goals outlined, one practical way to refine them further is by getting early feedback. Share your goals with trusted colleagues, your supervisor, or anyone who might use the solution you're planning to develop. This not only helps you hone your ideas, but also creates early advocates who can provide insights you may not have considered. For example, while you might think automating customer service reports is the priority, a colleague could point out that centralizing customer data would actually solve multiple problems at once. These conversations also make stakeholders feel included, which is a big step toward gaining their support as the project moves forward. As you wrap up this foundational step, remember that creating impactful solutions isn't about being the most advanced user of the Power Platform. It's about being thoughtful, asking good questions, and staying focused on what matters, solving meaningful problems efficiently and effectively. A citizen developer with a clear purpose can achieve extraordinary results even if they're just beginning to explore the tools. By now, you should have a good sense of how to approach defining your goals and vision. With this clarity, you're ready to take the next step, identifying the right people to collaborate with and support your journey. Whether it's your IT department, organizational leadership, or even external mentors, involving stakeholders early can make or break the success of your first project. In the next section, we'll explore how to engage these key players to set your citizen developer initiative on the right path. Step 2. Identifying stakeholders and building support. Did you know your IT team can be your best ally or your biggest roadblock? When it comes to launching a citizen developer initiative, identifying and engaging the right stakeholders can make or break your success. It's not just about having the right tools or the best intentions. Without the right people on board to provide involvement, feedback, or approvals, even the most promising projects can stall before they really get off the ground. Let's start with why stakeholders matter so much. Any project involving citizen development often shifts how work traditionally gets done within an organization. It introduces new tools, requires access to data, and sometimes changes established workflows. Naturally, this impacts multiple groups from IT to HR, leadership, and your own team members. By collaborating with these groups early in the process, you can address concerns, gain critical resources, and ultimately create a path forward that aligns with your company's goals. But collaboration isn't always as simple as sending out invites to a meeting. One of the most common sources of tension in this space is the relationship between citizen developers and IT departments. IT teams are tasked with maintaining security, ensuring compliance, and managing the tech infrastructure. And on the surface, a citizen developer creating custom apps might feel like a threat to those responsibilities. For instance, from an IT perspective, allowing non-developers to build apps or automate workflows could lead to challenges like shadow IT, where team members bypass official processes and introduce tools or software that haven't been properly vetted. This could create security risks if sensitive company data is involved or result in fragmented systems that are harder to maintain over time. So how do you avoid this friction? The key is to make IT your partner, not just a gatekeeper. Start by clearly communicating your goals for the project and frame it in a way that aligns with their priorities, such as improving efficiency, reducing manual workloads, or solving critical problems that affect the organization. Let's say you're building an app to help with inventory tracking across multiple teams. Show it how this app could reduce errors and free up employee time, benefits that affect the whole company. Then involve IT by asking for their advice early on. For example, you might need their help selecting a strategy for managing permissions or ensuring the app can properly integrate with the company's existing systems. When you actively seek their input, They're more likely to trust that you're not bypassing their expertise, but instead complementing it. In addition to IT, other key stakeholders play a major role in a successful citizen developer project. HR, for instance, can become a powerful ally if approached correctly. Citizen development isn't just about using tools. It's also about learning new processes and skills, making HR a vital partner in building training resources and professional development plans. If you want employees across departments to feel empowered to use the Power Platform effectively, you'll need programs, tutorials, and time allocated for upskilling. HR is instrumental in setting this up by introducing company-wide initiatives that make training a priority. For example, they might organize group workshops on Power Automate or integrate online training courses into onboarding plans for new hires. Then there's leadership. This group, often the decision makers holding the budget and resources, is crucial for setting the tone of organizational support. Successfully presenting your citizen developer initiative to leadership means addressing 3 key points: value, risk mitigation, and alignment with company priorities. Let's break that down. First, value. Use real relatable examples to explain how your project could save time, cut costs, or improve services. Data often helps. A simple chart showing how automating a repetitive task could reduce hours of manual work will speak volumes. Second, risk mitigation. Assure leadership that the project follows company policies, particularly around security or compliance standards, and emphasize how your collaboration with IT strengthens that aspect. Third, alignment. Ensure the project ties to larger goals, like improving customer satisfaction, streamlining operations, or fostering innovation. Leaders are far likelier to enthusiastically support a project when they see how it aligns with the company's bigger picture. Another often overlooked stakeholder is the network of potential mentors or internal champions within an organization. These are individuals who may not necessarily have decision-making power, but bring experience, technical expertise, or influence among their peers. For instance, a colleague who has already experimented with basic Power Apps can share tips or encourage others to explore low-code tools by showcasing the benefits of their work. Similarly, a technically skilled coworker might guide you through enhancing app functionality or troubleshooting performance issues. By involving these mentors, you create a ripple effect of shared knowledge and growing enthusiasm, making it easier to build broader support for ongoing citizen development efforts. Now, how do you approach each group effectively? Let's start with actionable steps for IT. Collaborating with this department often involves demonstrating that your goals align with their focus on security and scalability. Instead of presenting your project as a finished solution that only needs their stamp of approval, position it as a collaborative opportunity. For example, if you're planning to automate invoice processing, ask IT to review data flow designs or help set up secure integrations with the organization's accounting software. Giving them a place in the process increases buy-in while helping you avoid technical missteps you may not have anticipated. Additionally, offer IT visibility into your work by providing updates at key stages or maintaining proper documentation for the tools you develop. When engaging HR, start by framing citizen development as a larger personal growth and employee engagement opportunity. Highlight how these initiatives can boost job satisfaction by allowing employees to focus less on routine tasks and more on meaningful work. Advocate for company-wide training in low-code tools by sharing examples of organizations already reaping the benefits. For instance, research highlights how some businesses see significant reductions in process times when teams adopt Power Automate to handle repetitive workflows. Tying these benefits to HR's priorities, like team retention or productivity, gives your pitch added weight. For leadership collaboration, keep your communication sharp and outcome-focused. Prepare a concise pitch that outlines what you need, be it budget, tools, or time allocation, and what the return will look like. Let's say automating routine weekly reports will save 5 hours per employee every month. Multiply that by the number of employees the project affects, and you quickly have a compelling estimate of time saved across the organization. Leadership gravitates towards numbers like these because they represent clear, tangible results. To further strengthen your case, Bring in industry data and proven use cases to underscore the broader impact of low-code adoption. For instance, companies using the Power Platform report reductions in development time of up to 70%. Including statistics like these lends credibility to your project and grounds it in what others are already achieving. What about mentors or internal champions? The best way to approach these individuals is through direct informal conversations. Share your project vision with them, outline how their role or input could make a difference, and invite them to participate. Even a single experienced mentor can significantly accelerate your progress, especially when navigating complex decisions like defining app workflows or troubleshooting automation issues. This focus on aligning all stakeholders doesn't exist in a vacuum. Without their joint support, sustaining a citizen developer initiative becomes a steep uphill climb. Take budget approval, for instance. Without leadership backing, it's harder to secure funding for critical tools or training resources. Similarly, a disconnected IT department might block or delay app launches due to legitimate security concerns. That's why building alignment from the start is crucial, not just for completing the project, but for ensuring it thrives and scales long-term. One strategy for fostering alignment is holding a cross-functional kickoff meeting that brings all stakeholders together. This creates an opportunity for open communication where roles, expectations, and contributions can be defined upfront. Use this time to explore concerns, celebrate shared goals, and ensure everyone understands how the project benefits not just your team, but the broader organization. Lastly, take advantage of tools to keep everyone aligned and informed. For example, share project updates through platforms like Microsoft Teams, or set up SharePoint sites to store relevant documentation like training materials, app designs, or progress reports. Engaging stakeholders through these centralized platforms helps maintain transparency and ensures that each group feels mutually invested and informed in the process. As you dive into identifying and collaborating with stakeholders, remember that this step isn't about reducing everything to a single conversation or focusing on immediate approvals. It's about recognizing the broader long-term importance of building trust, fostering collaboration, and aligning incentives across departments. Every step you take to establish these relationships strengthens the foundation on which your citizen developer journey rests. Now that you've started laying this organizational groundwork, it's time to consider what comes next: resources. Building a successful citizen developer program doesn't stop with gaining alignment. It also hinges on ensuring you have the time, tools, and training necessary to power your efforts. In the next section, we'll break down how to identify and plan for the resources that will set your initiative up for long-term success. Step 3. Planning resources for long-term success. What's the one thing you can't afford to overlook? Resource planning, it's the backbone of your citizen developer journey. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new tools or the potential impact of the solutions you're about to build. But without the right resources in place, even the best ideas can fizzle out. Proper resource planning is what transforms initial enthusiasm into sustained success, ensuring that your efforts aren't limited to one-off wins but instead create lasting value. Let's start by understanding why resource allocation is critical. Think of it as the foundation of a house. If you try to expand without paying attention to underlying support, you'll quickly run into structural failures. For a citizen developer program, these structural failures come in many forms: lack of time for training, inconsistent access to tools, or inadequate funding for key platforms. At the individual level, this might mean hitting frustrating roadblocks that slow your progress. Across an organization, it can lead to bigger problems like failed adoption, duplicated efforts, or low leadership confidence in the initiative as a whole. One of the most common oversights is underestimating the time investment needed to build skills. Low-code tools like Power Apps and Power Automate are designed to be accessible, but that doesn't mean most users will master them overnight. Training isn't just a one-time activity either. It's an ongoing process that adapts as your goals evolve and your projects grow in complexity. Allocating focused time for learning, whether through formal courses, guided projects, or even experimenting on your own, isn't just valuable. It's essential. For example, let's say you want to build an app with Power Apps to improve how your team tracks project progress. Starting with simple templates will help you get familiar with the platform, but as you customize and layer in additional functionality, you'll likely need to explore deeper features like conditional logic or custom connectors. Without dedicating time to learn, you may find yourself stuck and unable to deliver a solution that performs as expected. But time by itself isn't enough. Budget plays an equally important role. Many tools available on the Power Platform, such as Power BI and Power Automate, offer free versions or trial periods. While this makes it easy to get started, scaling these solutions often requires additional investment. For example, building enterprise-grade apps or running flows for high volumes of data might require premium features accessible only with paid plans. This is where planning ahead ensures you fully understand the costs involved and how to justify them. If leadership or decision makers hesitate at the idea of allocating budget, showing the projected ROI can make a big difference. Let's say automating a repetitive reporting process saves 5 employees 2 hours each week. Factor in the hourly wages and multiply that across months, and you've got a concrete number that demonstrates how the budget isn't an expense. It's a smart investment. The tools themselves form the third pillar of resource planning. The Microsoft Power Platform provides an interconnected suite of solutions, each designed to tackle specific challenges. Power Apps, for instance, enables you to create custom applications tailored to your unique workflows. Imagine you work in operations and oversee inventory management. With Power Apps, you can build a tool that tracks real-time stock levels, sending alerts whenever inventory drops below a critical threshold. No coding required, just intuitive drag-and-drop interfaces backed by business rules you define. Power Automate, meanwhile, comes into play when you want to create workflows that save time on manual tasks. Think about all the repetitive emails or approvals that fill your day. With Power Automate, you can set up flows that trigger responses, update records, or create notifications without you lifting a finger. For example, you can configure a flow to send an email summary to your team every time a status update is posted to a SharePoint list, completely removing the need for checking or updating the data manually. And then there's Power BI, a tool specifically designed for analyzing and visualizing data. Let's say you're in marketing and want to track performance metrics from dozens of campaigns. Power BI allows you to pull that data from various sources, clean it, and turn it into interactive, shareable dashboards. Beyond just showing numbers, it helps you identify patterns and make informed decisions faster. Access to these tools provides citizen developers a powerful arsenal for managing processes, analyzing trends, and delivering better outcomes across departments. While the tools are the stars of the platform, they shine brightest when combined with training resources. Microsoft offers a wealth of learning materials, from official documentation to on-demand tutorials. External platforms like LinkedIn Learning provide structured courses, while community spaces like the Microsoft Power Platform forums and YouTube channels feature real-world tips from other users. Even within your own organization, collaborating with more experienced citizen developers or seeking out mentorship can give you an edge. Suppose you've just started exploring Power Automate and don't know how to connect an app to an external API. A quick post on the community forums could guide you through the process, saving hours of frustration and helping you move forward more confidently. Resource planning also directly impacts how scalable your efforts become. When you've allocated enough time and budget up front, it allows you to take a comprehensive approach instead of patching together solutions in a piecemeal fashion. For instance, rather than building individual workflows and apps to address isolated problems, you can look at creating a suite of tools that integrates seamlessly across departments. If done right, your solution doesn't just resolve one issue, it becomes part of a larger ecosystem that improves collaboration, efficiency, and innovation company-wide. To make resource planning actionable, here's where you might start. Sit down and map out the key areas that could impact your citizen developer journey. 1. Time. How much do you need to dedicate to initial training? What additional time will be needed to build and refine your projects? Factor in realistic schedules, allowing room to experiment and learn. 2. Budget. Are the free or included versions of Power Platform tools sufficient for your organization's needs? If not, identify which features require premium access and estimate the cost. When pitching this to leadership, focus on efficiency gains and potential savings. 3. Tools. Do your solutions use Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, or a combination? Ensure you're familiar with the capabilities and limitations of each tool you plan to use. Also, consider any third-party integrations that might improve functionality. 4. Training resources. Identify key learning pathways, whether through online courses, internal workshops, or self-guided study. If your organization supports professional development, leverage HR to secure access to training platforms. Getting these basics in place early on doesn't just increase your chances of success, it boosts your confidence too. Instead of worrying about whether you'll hit a bottleneck, you can focus entirely on building and refining solutions that make an impact. Proper resource planning also has indirect benefits. When stakeholders see that you've thought through these foundational elements, it builds trust. IT teams, for example, are more likely to support your efforts when they see you've considered security protocols and data integrations ahead of time. Similarly, leadership is more inclined to approve resources when you present a transparent, well-thought-out plan. It signals that you're not just experimenting, you're serious about delivering results. We've covered a lot so far, but there's one more component that ties all of this together. These resources aren't just about getting started, they're about staying consistent. Even after you've launched your first project, continued investment in time, tools, and skill building ensures scalability. Without long-term planning, it's easy for the momentum to fade, leaving behind underutilized apps or workflows. However, organizations that commit to nurturing these resources, and that means revisiting needs periodically, create environments where citizen development thrives. Looking ahead, resource planning naturally leads to conversations about community design because while individual effort is a great starting point, the real magic of citizen development happens when organizations foster collaboration through structured, supportive communities. In the next section, we'll explore how to design frameworks that scale your initiative from scattered individual projects into a unified, impactful program. A great plan for resources is just step 1. Community building turns that plan into something even bigger. Step 4. Designing the framework for your citizen developer community. What's the secret to scaling your citizen developer program? It's not just about the tools or the individual projects. It's about creating a supportive, well-structured community. A community serves as the connecting thread that turns isolated efforts into something larger and more impactful. It's where ideas are shared, problems are solved collaboratively, and ongoing support ensures that everybody has the resources they need to grow their skills. Without it, even the best start can lose momentum. Let's take a step back and think about what happens without a framework for collaboration. Imagine a handful of employees excitedly diving into the Power Platform to automate tasks or create apps. At first, it seems promising, but soon inconsistencies start creeping in. One person might build an app with a specific naming convention for data fields. Another might use an entirely different structure. There's no central repository for knowledge, so questions about best practices are bounced around in emails or left unanswered altogether. Over time, participation fades, and what could have been an organizational game changer turns into scattered, disconnected projects. This happens when there's no organized structure for people to share, learn, and align. A good community framework fixes this. It gives citizen developers access to a support network, ensures resources are easy to find, and provides a clear direction for growth. But building this kind of environment requires deliberate planning. To start, think in terms of roles, communication, and content. Each of these components plays a key part in making your citizen developer community a place where members not only stay active but also thrive. Let's talk about roles first. A well-functioning community benefits from clearly defined responsibilities. While every member plays a role by contributing their ideas and asking questions, certain positions provide the structure needed to keep everything running smoothly. For example, consider having moderators who regularly monitor discussions or forums, ensure resources are up to date, and answer common questions. They act as the central point of contact for new or uncertain members, making the community less intimidating for newcomers. Then there are mentors, experienced citizen developers who provide guidance to less experienced members. A mentor might host small group training sessions, pair up with individuals on their first projects, or share advanced tips based on their own experiences. And don't forget about champions, employees who actively encourage peers to join the community and highlight its value to different departments. Champions help bring visibility to the initiative and inspire others to participate. Now let's move to communication. How you connect members matters. Without clear and consistent communication channels, it's easy for engagement to slip through the cracks. The platform you choose for these interactions is an important decision. Microsoft Teams, for example, is an excellent option for many organizations. It offers real-time chat, file sharing, and the ability to segment discussions into channels. This makes it easy to create a space where people can collaborate freely while keeping topics organized. Take a scenario where one channel focuses on app building questions, another on sharing success stories, and a third on troubleshooting automation flows. Members can quickly find the conversations most relevant to them without sifting through irrelevant noise. Alternatively, if your organization uses SharePoint, you might create a central knowledge hub where all community resources are stored. This could include links to training programs, FAQs, templates for common workflows, and meetup schedules. SharePoint's search functionality helps members quickly locate information, and its collaborative features allow multiple people to contribute content, keeping the hub dynamic and relevant over time. Regardless of the platform you choose, it's essential to set some ground rules for communication. Simple guidelines, like encouraging respectful conversations, avoiding jargon that could alienate beginners, and tagging conversations by topic, e.g. Power BI help or workflow issues, can create a space that feels approachable and inclusive. The third pillar of a strong community is content. Resources play a massive role in attracting members and supporting them long-term. Picture this. Someone joins your community for the first time because they want to learn how to automate weekly sales reports using Power Automate. Instead of feeling stuck, they find an FAQ section that guides them through the basics, a tutorial video that visually demonstrates the process, and even a discussion forum where others have shared troubleshooting tips. This type of supportive ecosystem motivates members to dive deeper and try new things. The most effective content starts with essentials. FAQs are a must-have, as they answer common immediate questions like, where do I start? Or who do I go to for approval at different stages of my project? Tutorials, whether written step-by-step guides or video walkthroughs, are equally important. They provide a tangible path for members to follow and reduce the intimidation factor of learning a new tool. Don't overlook process documentation either. This includes guidelines for how members should build applications or solutions that integrate well into the organization. By introducing standards, for example, agreeing on labeling conventions for app components or data fields, you decrease inconsistency and make it easier for projects to scale. But essential materials are only the beginning. Another vital piece of content is success stories. Highlighting the impact of citizen development through real-world examples shows new members what's possible. Say a department reduced invoice processing time by 40% with an app built by a citizen developer. Sharing this story not only celebrates their effort, but also inspires others to consider their own opportunities for improvement. Ideally, these stories include specifics. Instead of saying, we automated a workflow, explain, Power Automate was used to create an approval pipeline for contracts, cutting the process from 2 weeks to 5 days and saving the department roughly 50 hours of manual work each month. Of course, no community is static. It needs activity to stay engaging and relevant. This ties back to the importance of having a collaborative space like Teams or SharePoint where members can communicate freely. Encourage participation by using these platforms to host events such as live Q&A sessions with mentors, virtual training workshops, or app showcase days where members can present the solutions they've built and receive feedback. These activities not only build individual skills but also increase the sense of belonging within the community. The more members feel like they're part of something bigger, the more likely they are to stay involved. Another hidden benefit of a strong citizen developer community is how it fosters innovation. As more people work together and share their approaches, creative solutions emerge that wouldn't have been possible in silos. For example, a finance team member might create a budget tracking tool using Power BI, and after sharing it in the community, someone in HR could adapt the design to track employee benefits more efficiently. This kind of cross-pollination between departments is where the most valuable breakthroughs happen. With a strong communication platform and resources in place, these connections occur naturally. The power of a well-designed citizen developer community also extends beyond technical knowledge. It changes the culture of an organization. Teams become more willing to experiment, share ideas, and collaborate on finding better ways to work. And as people learn to solve problems creatively, they develop a sense of pride and ownership over their contributions. That sense of empowerment is contagious, attracting even more members to join the initiative. As you think about establishing this framework, keep one principle at the core: simplicity. The goal isn't to overwhelm members with too much structure or too many tools, but to create an environment that feels accessible and practical. Focus on consistency in your communication, provide clear pathways for learning, and give people the space to contribute at their own pace. Over time, as participation grows and members gain confidence, the community will naturally evolve into a thriving ecosystem of problem-solving and shared knowledge. By now, you should see how critical a strong community framework is for scaling a citizen developer program. It's not just an add-on, it's what ties everything together. From clearly defined roles and effective communication to targeted resources and shared success stories, this foundation supports long-term collaboration and innovation. But building the framework is only part of the challenge. A community is only as strong as its members, which is why actively promoting and attracting participants is the next important step. In the next section, we'll focus on strategies for bringing people into your citizen developer community and building excitement around the initiative. After all, the best designed framework won't accomplish much if people don't know it exists or don't see why they should be involved. Let's explore what it takes to grow your community and spark engagement. Step 5. Promoting your community and attracting members. Even the most thoughtfully designed citizen developer community can falter without one critical element: active, engaged members. You've built the framework, set up resources, and perhaps even established roles, but the question remains, how do you bring people into this community and get them excited about being part of it? It's not enough to expect employees to stumble upon it and join on their own. Promoting the community effectively is what sparks interest, builds momentum, and ensures your initiative has the people power it needs to thrive. First, let's explore why promotion is so essential. In almost every organization, employees are juggling dozens of priorities. New tools, training sessions, or initiatives can easily get lost in the noise unless they're positioned as relevant and valuable. Think about it from their perspective. Why should they take time out of their already packed schedules to participate? This is where strategic promotion comes in. It helps you reach people where they are, show them what's in it for them, and make the case for why this community is worth their time. Without clear communication and well-targeted outreach, you run into two major challenges: lack of awareness and initial resistance. Lack of awareness is straightforward. Employees don't join a community they don't know exists. Even if a handful of individuals hear about it organically, limited visibility often leads to low participation, which undermines any sense of energy and momentum. The second challenge, resistance, can be a bit trickier. It often stems from misconceptions like assuming citizen development is too technical or irrelevant to their role, or even from skepticism about whether the effort will actually deliver value. Addressing these challenges requires more than sending out a company-wide email. It's about creating meaningful, engaging touchpoints that show potential members exactly why they should care. One of the most effective ways to kick things off is by hosting a launch event. This could be an in-person gathering if your organization has a shared workspace, or a virtual session for remote or hybrid teams. The key here is to treat it like a showcase rather than a lecture. Instead of diving straight into technical training, make the event about inspiration and possibilities. Share examples of citizen developers within the organization or from other companies who have solved meaningful problems. For instance, you might highlight a team that automated a recurring report, saving dozens of hours each month, or a department that built a custom app to simplify inventory tracking. These real-world success stories immediately communicate the potential impact and make the initiative feel approachable. Pair these stories with a live demonstration of how simple it is to get started with tools like Power Apps or Power Automate. Seeing something created in real time has a way of breaking down the mental barriers people might have about technical know-how. After the kickoff, continue introducing the community in smaller, targeted ways. For new employees, this could mean including the citizen developer community as part of the onboarding process. A virtual introduction meeting is a great option here. A short session where mentors or champions explain how the community works, the kinds of tools available, and how to take their first steps. Another tactic is embedding community promotion in existing training programs. If your organization offers professional development webinars or workshops, use a few minutes during those sessions to highlight what the citizen developer community has to offer. This approach works particularly well because it reaches employees when they're already in a learning mindset. Incentives can also play a big role in boosting initial participation. People are far more likely to engage when they see immediate personal value. Mentor programs are a great example of this. Pairing new members with experienced citizen developers offers a sense of guidance and connection, which helps remove some of the common fears about starting something new. Competitions are another engaging strategy. For instance, you could organize a Build a Better Workflow challenge where employees create small automation projects and showcase their results. Add a small reward like recognition during an all-hands meeting or a featured story on the company intranet, and you turn participation into something fun and rewarding. Incentives don't always have to be tangible either. Sometimes the opportunity to showcase their skills or contribute to meaningful problems is enough to drive involvement. Once you've attracted members, ongoing communication is critical for keeping them in the loop and showing continuous value. Think about the channels you use to share updates, tips, or success stories. This could include creating internal newsletters, publishing short highlight reels from recent events, or using social platforms like Yammer or Microsoft Teams to post real-time updates. Ideally, these updates focus not just on logistical details like upcoming events, but also on celebrating progress, highlighting individuals or teams who've successfully built something as citizen developers. Even something as simple as a post reading "Shout out to Tim in HR for building an app that tracks recruitment metrics, amazing work," can inspire others and spark curiosity. Here's where storytelling plays an especially powerful role. Humans naturally connect to stories. Numbers and stats are great for showing impact, but it's personal narratives that make the initiative feel real and relatable. Imagine sharing a 2-minute video where a team member walks through their first experience building a Power Automate workflow. Maybe they talk about how intimidated they felt at first, but how simple the step-by-step templates made it. They show before and after results, explaining how they now finish a repetitive task in minutes instead of hours. That kind of authentic story creates an emotional resonance that technical specs can't achieve. Potential members don't just see the tools, they see themselves in the narrative. Another way to promote the community is through leveraging leadership endorsements. This doesn't mean vague statements like "we support innovation." It means visibly engaging with the initiative. For example, a department head might share during a town hall how a citizen developer project improved their team's workflow, or a senior leader might highlight the initiative's alignment with broader company goals, like improving agility or empowering employees to innovate. These endorsements reinforce the program's legitimacy and encourage wider participation by signaling that this isn't just another passing trend. It's a strategic priority. While your promotion strategy should focus on generating excitement, it should also manage expectations. Be clear that the citizen developer community isn't about overnight success or instant results. It's about building a habit of creative problem solving over time. Position your messaging around the idea that anyone can start small. A simple automation or dashboard is as much a win as a fully fleshed out app. The more accessible the initiative feels, the less intimidating it becomes. As members begin to join, promoting their work and recognizing their contributions becomes another layer of community growth. For instance, create a spotlight series where every month you feature the story of a member who built something impactful. Explain how they got started, what tools they used, and the value their solution delivered. These stories serve as promotion tools in themselves because they inspire others not just to join, but to actively participate. Sustained engagement requires thinking beyond the initial promotional push. Once people are part of the community, how do you keep them involved long-term? One idea is to introduce themed months or challenges. For example, a data month could focus on building dashboards in Power BI, while an automation month encourages experiments with Power Automate. Incorporate training workshops, Q&A sessions, and competitions tied to those themes to keep the energy fresh. Another approach is to reward consistent participation. This could be as formal as introducing a leaderboard for contributions, or as casual as sending thank you notes to members who share resources or mentor others. It's worth noting that not everybody will jump in right away, and that's okay. Some employees might need to observe for months before they feel confident enough to participate actively. By creating a steady drip of stories, events, and opportunities to get involved, you slowly build momentum rather than expecting everyone to show up at once. Keep the initiative visible, approachable, and always worth talking about. To summarize, promoting your citizen developer community is not just a one-time activity. It's an ongoing effort that connects storytelling, leadership support, incentives, and clear communication channels. It's about making the initiative feel real, relevant, and rewarding for everyone involved, whether through launch events, mentor programs, or simple kudos for small wins. Every touchpoint strengthens the community and inspires more people to see their potential as citizen developers. At this point, you're equipped with strategies to attract members and get the ball rolling. But joining a community is just the first step. Keeping those members engaged over time is what turns your program into a thriving ecosystem. In the next section, we'll explore how to maintain that energy through creative events, activities, and ongoing collaboration. Because a strong community isn't built just by bringing people in. It's built by keeping them inspired. Step 6. Engaging members with events and activities. How do you keep your citizen developer community buzzing with energy? It's all about engagement. This isn't something you can build once and leave to run itself. The glue that holds a community together is the active participation of its members, that collaboration and sense of purpose that brings everyone back, keeps them curious, and encourages them to contribute. Regular events and activities play a huge role in creating that energy, helping members feel connected not only to the tools but also to one another. But this requires intention. Without ways to consistently engage your members, the enthusiasm around citizen development can fade, leaving your community quiet and disconnected. Why does this happen? It often comes down to whether members feel supported and valued. For example, a new citizen developer might be excited about trying Power BI for the first time but quickly run out of confidence without real-time help or a supportive peer group to lean on. Or someone who has already built their first app in Power Apps might hit a roadblock on their next project and feel like they're on their own. In situations like these, there's a risk that members disengage, not because they don't see the value in the community, but because they don't feel connected to it. That's when momentum stalls. People stop participating, innovation slows, and the overall initiative can begin to feel stagnant. This doesn't need to be the case. The right combination of events and activities can significantly change the dynamic of your community. Let's start with some examples of what effective engagement could look like. One of the simplest but most meaningful activities is hosting regular Q&A sessions. These don't have to be elaborate. Think of them like open office hours for citizen developers. Members can join, ask questions about challenges they're facing, and get advice from mentors, IT personnel, or more experienced peers. For instance, someone struggling to connect a SharePoint list to Power Automate might bring their issue to a session and leave with practical solutions they can apply immediately. This kind of real-time problem solving offers value to the individual and shows the entire community that there's support available. Beyond Q&As, hackathons are another way to drive engagement and generate excitement. These events work by bringing members together to solve specific challenges over a short, concentrated period. Say your organization wants to brainstorm ideas for streamlining internal reporting. Through a hackathon, participants could form small teams, each creating an automated workflow or dashboard solution over the course of a day or two. For added incentive, you could include friendly competition, maybe awarding prizes for the most innovative solution or the idea with the highest projected time savings. The collaborative spirit of a hackathon does more than just produce creative solutions. It also builds connections between participants. People who might not normally work together, like someone from HR teaming up with someone from sales, get the chance to explore each other's perspectives and share knowledge. Training workshops are another essential activity, especially for bringing newer members up to speed. These workshops might cover foundational skills like building a Power BI dashboard or creating approval workflows in Power Automate. The key to keeping these sessions engaging is to make them hands-on. Instead of simply showing attendees how to use a feature, guide them through creating something practical they can immediately apply to their work. For example, a workshop could focus on creating an app in Power Apps to track team vacation requests. Participants would leave not only with new skills, but also with a functional tool they can start using right away. Equally important is creating opportunities for members to share their best practices with one another. A dedicated show and share session where members present projects they've been working on or creative solutions they've developed encourages collaboration and sparks ideas. For example, a team that built a streamlined expense tracking tool in Power Apps might inspire another department to adapt it for tracking inventory. These sessions often highlight the real-world impact of citizen development and build credibility within the organization. To encourage members to share their experiences, the environment needs to feel safe and collaborative, not competitive or overly formal. You want members to feel comfortable saying, "This is what worked for me, but here's where I struggled," without the fear of judgment. That openness creates an environment where people learn not only from successes, but also from mistakes. It's a shift in mindset from thinking of mistakes as failures to seeing them as opportunities for growth. One strategy to foster this kind of environment is to create channels or forums specifically for feedback and stories. For instance, setting up a dedicated group in Microsoft Teams where members can post their app examples, automation workflows, or challenges keeps engagement frequent and accessible. Members could respond with suggestions, ask follow-up questions, or even adapt the shared ideas for their own projects. Regularly promoting these examples during larger community events or newsletters can help spotlight member contributions and encourage more people to participate. Feedback is a critical part of this process, not just for individual members, but for the community itself. Regularly gathering input on what's working, what members want to see more of, and where gaps might exist helps you adapt and improve the experience. This doesn't need to be overly complicated. A short survey after a workshop asking, "Was this session helpful?" or "What other topics would you like to learn about?" can reveal valuable insights. Similarly, informal check-ins during Q&A sessions can help you uncover common challenges that might inspire the theme for your next event. For instance, if you notice multiple members asking about integrating third-party APIs with their Power Platform apps, that could become a focus for your next hands-on training. The benefits of sustained engagement go beyond just activity within the community itself. They foster a culture of innovation and collaboration across the organization. As members gain confidence and start sharing their solutions more widely, other teams or departments may start to take notice. This leads to natural cross-pollination of ideas and broadens the reach of citizen development's impact. For example, imagine a finance team that builds an app to automate monthly forecasts, inspiring an operations team to create their own tool for tracking supply chain data. These kinds of connections don't just enhance productivity, they drive a company-wide shift toward creative problem solving. Engagement also scales the expertise within your community. The more active people are, the more knowledge flows back into the group. A mentor who has run several hackathons might put together a guide on why certain workflows are more efficient. Another member could create video tutorials for solving common issues with Power Automate. This kind of peer-led resource creation grows the collective knowledge pool and reduces the demand on any one person, whether it's an IT support member or a citizen developer champion. However, remember that not all activities need to be grand or highly structured. Sometimes simple consistency is more powerful than occasional big events. For example, weekly tip of the week posts in forums or on Teams can spark small but meaningful discussions. Or a monthly Ask Me Anything session with an experienced citizen developer can provide ongoing opportunities for newer members to get involved. These smaller, consistent touchpoints ensure the community feels alive and relevant, even between larger events like hackathons or workshops. The ultimate goal isn't just to keep members engaged for the sake of activity, it's to create a sense of belonging and empowerment. Members who feel part of something bigger are more likely to think creatively, try new things, and share their efforts with others. This builds a cycle of participation where engagement fuels innovation and innovation inspires further engagement. Over time, this momentum transforms your citizen developer community from a collection of individuals into a true driver of organizational impact. Now that you understand the importance of maintaining engagement, it's worth asking yourself, how can you measure the success of your efforts? After all, while participation counts and workshop attendance are helpful indicators, they don't tell the full story. It's just as important to show measurable results that demonstrate how this engagement translates into real business value. In the next section, we'll dive into how to track metrics, showcase impact, and validate the return on investment for your citizen developer initiatives. Because what gets measured gets improved, and that's how you ensure your community isn't just active but truly impactful. Step 7. Tracking metrics and proving value. How do you know if your citizen developer program is working? The answer lies in the data. Whether you're trying to gain leadership support, keep stakeholders aligned, or assess the progress of your own initiative, metrics are the key. They don't just prove value, they provide insights that guide decisions, improve outcomes, and keep your community on the right track. Without data, you're left guessing at impact, and trying to persuade a skeptical stakeholder without clear metrics is like shooting in the dark. Tracking the success of a citizen developer program isn't just about collecting metrics for the sake of having numbers. It's about tying those numbers to real-world benefits that resonate with your organization's goals. Let's say you tell a department head that several new apps were created as part of the initiative. That might sound like progress, but it doesn't mean much unless you also show how those apps improved productivity, saved time, or reduced costs. Metrics bring focus and specificity to these contributions, giving you an objective way to demonstrate value rather than relying on anecdotes or assumptions. Of course, proving that value can be an uphill battle. This is especially true with stakeholders like IT departments or leadership teams who tend to view new initiatives with an understandable dose of caution. IT professionals, for instance, are often wary of citizen developers introducing fragmented solutions, bypassing security protocols, or creating apps that don't scale well. On the surface, their concerns make sense, but that's exactly why data matters. Data allows you to show that the program isn't just operationally sound, but also delivering benefits that align with IT's goals, such as improving efficiency across departments or reducing their workload on smaller projects. Start by identifying what you need to measure. One of the most obvious and impactful metrics is app adoption rates. If citizen developers are building tools that aren't being used, that's a red flag. High adoption rates, on the other hand, indicate that the solutions are meeting real needs. For example, let's say a sales team starts using a Power Apps tool to track client leads more efficiently. Tracking how many team members actively use this tool over time can tell you whether it's solving a problem or if improvements are needed. Don't just stop at raw adoption numbers either. Dig deeper. Use surveys or informal feedback to find out what members appreciate about the app and what could make it even more effective. Another important metric is the measurable improvement in processes. While adoption data might show interest, time savings and efficiency gains are what truly demonstrate value. Imagine your customer service department builds a Power Automate workflow to handle email inquiries. Before the workflow, it took an average of 3 hours to process each inquiry. After implementation, that time drops to 45 minutes. That's a tangible improvement, and by tracking how many inquiries are processed each month, you can calculate the cumulative time saved. These kinds of statistics are not just impressive, they carry weight when presenting the program's impact to leadership. Time savings can also be extended to larger organizational patterns. For example, use Power BI to analyze how repetitive tasks were distributed before and after citizen developers implemented automation tools. One case might show that a department reduced manual data entry from 4 hours a week per employee to almost 0. When metrics like these are tied to workforce output, they show how the initiative enhances productivity on a scale that leadership can't ignore. But for some stakeholders, particularly leadership, the conversation often comes back to return on investment. ROI goes beyond abstract improvements. It's about hard numbers. Take time savings as an example again. If automating a repetitive task saves 10 employees an hour a week, calculate the financial value of that saved time using average employee salaries. Let's say each hour of work costs $30. Over the course of a year, that single workflow might save your organization $15,600 in labor costs. Data like this quickly turns skepticism into support because it directly connects your program to bottom-line results. All these metrics are valuable, but how do you actually gather and present them? This is where tools like Power BI come into play. Power BI doesn't just visualize metrics, it organizes them in a way that makes patterns and trends easy to understand. By pulling data from sources like app usage logs, process audits, or automation reports, you can create dashboards that track key indicators over time. For instance, one section of the dashboard might show app usage growth month over month, while another highlights the cumulative hours saved through Power Automate workflows. These visuals aren't just for internal use, they're your secret weapon when presenting the program's impact to leadership or other departments. Imagine showcasing a Power BI dashboard to your stakeholders during a review meeting. On one screen, they can see the total number of applications built, the combined hours saved by automation, and user feedback grades, all presented in a dynamic, compelling format. Data visualization transforms raw numbers into a narrative, helping stakeholders to both understand and appreciate the program's success in ways that spreadsheets alone can't achieve. Plus, dashboards can be updated in real time, giving everyone an up-to-date pulse on the initiative's performance. Beyond numbers, success stories may be the most compelling way to prove impact. Numbers show the what, but stories show the why it matters. For example, you might share how a frontline employee with no technical background used Power Apps to create an inventory tracking solution that allowed their team to cut order errors by 30%. Another story might focus on a sales manager who reduced onboarding time for new hires by automating account setup processes with Power Automate. These kinds of stories center the human element, providing stakeholders with concrete examples of how citizen development makes people's lives easier and boosts morale. Public recognition is a great way to share these stories while rallying continued support for the program. Feature standout citizen developers in your company's newsletter or share highlights during all-hands meetings. If your organization has a recognition program, consider creating a specific category for citizen development achievements. For example, awarding a most impactful solution of the quarter celebrates individuals while also reinforcing the importance of the initiative. When stakeholders see the real-world results of the program highlighted so visibly, it reinforces its value without requiring additional persuasion. Success stories also help with scaling your initiative. As more people hear about the impact their colleagues are making using tools like Power Automate and Power BI, they're more likely to get curious and join the effort themselves. Over time, the metrics feed directly into these stories, creating a feedback loop where data shows the scope of the program's impact, while storytelling brings it to life in ways that invite even broader participation. So, why is proving value through metrics so critical beyond gaining buy-in or justifying costs? It ensures the long-term sustainability of your citizen developer program. When metrics are part of the process from day one, they serve as a roadmap for where to focus your efforts next, revealing patterns and areas of opportunity. For instance, you might notice that one department is automating tasks much faster than others, suggesting that others could benefit from tailored workshops or additional resources. Alternatively, you might find that while app creation is increasing, adoption is flat, signaling a need for better training or integration. Metrics also serve as your baseline for continuous improvement. They help you answer essential questions. Are new projects getting better over time? Are members of the community becoming more independent and confident in their skills? Are there barriers that are slowing progress? Without measuring these things, you risk missing opportunities to refine the initiative and keep it aligned with organizational priorities. The most successful citizen developer initiatives treat metrics as a living element of the program. By regularly revisiting your data and sharing results transparently with stakeholders, you build an ongoing case for why this community should remain a priority. Even modest successes, when consistently measured and reported, can continue to drive new enthusiasm and support, reinforcing how citizen development impacts both individual teams and the organization as a whole. As you wrap your head around tracking metrics and proving value, it's worth asking, what's next? Numbers and stories can tell you how far you've come, but they're also a guiding light for where you should focus next. The key is to never let the program stagnate. In the final step of this journey, we'll explore how to keep your citizen developer initiative flexible, responsive, and future-proof. Because real success isn't just measured by what you've already done. It's about building a program that thrives well into the future. Step 8, sustaining and evolving your citizen developer initiative. What's the key to long-term success? Continuously evolving your citizen developer program. No matter how strong your start, sustaining the initiative requires consistent effort to adapt to change, improve processes, and build on initial momentum. The Power Platform might give you the tools to create efficient workflows or apps, but it's the strategies behind the program that ensure its impact grows over time. To understand why evolution is necessary, think about the risks of stagnation. It's easy to assume that once you have a functioning community and people building solutions, the program will manage itself. But over time, participation may dwindle if new members don't feel welcomed, or if seasoned members become less engaged, outdated best practices can sneak into workflows, leading to inefficiencies. Or worse, the solutions created might no longer align with shifting business priorities. Without a deliberate strategy to keep things fresh and relevant, the community risks becoming a shadow of its potential. So, how do you keep your citizen developer program thriving? It all starts with fostering a culture of continued learning. Training shouldn't end after someone learns the basics of Power Apps or Power Automate. As tools evolve and new features are introduced, it's important to provide regular opportunities for members to sharpen their skills. For instance, you could schedule advanced workshops every few months, focusing on more complex concepts like building custom connectors in Power Automate or advanced data modeling in Power BI. These sessions allow members to push their boundaries while improving the quality of solutions they create. For a more scalable approach to training, think about incorporating micro-learning opportunities into the community's communication channels. This could be as simple as a tip of the week shared in a Microsoft Teams channel or a quick 1-minute video demonstrating the latest feature in Power Platform. These bite-sized lessons fit seamlessly into members' busy schedules while ensuring they stay informed about new tools and strategies. When members feel like they're always improving, they stay motivated to contribute. Another critical piece of sustaining your program is gathering ongoing feedback. What worked initially may not work forever, so it's essential to keep a pulse on how members are experiencing the program. This could be as formal as twice-yearly surveys or as informal as check-ins during community events. Listen closely to what members think could improve. Are the training materials meeting their needs? Are the tools they want to use available and easy to access? Feedback loops not only help you adjust the program where needed, they also show members that their opinions matter. One strategy to make feedback actionable is to create a structure for it. For example, designate ambassadors or champions from different departments who can act as intermediaries between the broader community and program organizers. These ambassadors would regularly collect feedback from their teams, consolidate it, and report it back during review sessions. This layered approach ensures you're getting insights from all angles without overwhelming program managers with individual requests. Plus, by empowering ambassadors, you're keeping leadership and participation spread across the organization, which ensures broader buy-in. Mentorship programs are another powerful tool for keeping energy high within your citizen developer community. Experienced members who have built impactful apps or workflows are in a prime position to guide those who are just starting out. Pairing mentors with mentees not only accelerates the learning curve for new members, but also strengthens connections within the community. Ideally, mentors could host small office hours where anyone can drop in for advice, or they could work one-on-one with individuals on their first projects. This encourages an environment of collaboration and makes new members feel supported, reducing the intimidation factor of exploring new technology. If you want your program to remain cutting edge, keeping up with emerging technologies is non-negotiable. Microsoft Power Platform continues to expand with new tools and features that can unlock even greater potential for citizen developers. For instance, introducing members to Power Platform Copilot, Microsoft's AI-driven assistant, can dramatically simplify app development and process automation. Copilot not only helps citizen developers build solutions faster, but also demystifies more complex setups by providing suggestions and guidance in real time. Showcasing tools like this empowers members to stay at the forefront of innovation, which adds value to their work and to the broader program. When integrating advanced tools like Copilot, consider creating use cases or mini projects that show members how it can fit into their unique needs. For example, Copilot could be presented as a way to speed up the creation of customer service apps or automate invoice processing workflows. By tying new tools directly to practical, relatable scenarios, you help members see their relevance and encourage adoption. But sustaining a program isn't just about learning and tools, it's also about recognizing and celebrating progress. Milestones, whether at the individual or community level, should always be acknowledged. This could look like awarding certificates or badges for members who complete advanced training or hit a specific goal, such as building their first app used across multiple teams. On a larger scale, you could host an annual Citizen Developer Showcase event to highlight the most impactful solutions created that year. Invite leadership to attend, and better yet, share their excitement about the program so members feel their efforts are recognized at the highest levels. Celebrating small wins is just as important. Take time to highlight individual accomplishments during community meetings or in newsletters. For example, if someone used Power Automate to cut approval times by half, make sure everyone knows about it. These moments not only motivate members to keep innovating, but also inspire others to take on projects they may have hesitated to start. Rewarding contributions goes beyond just giving recognition. Providing tangible resources to those who engage meaningfully can also be effective. For instance, offer access to exclusive training for particularly active members, or give them an opportunity to shape the program by joining a steering committee. These perks reinforce a sense of belonging and value within the community while ensuring that engaged members have a say in how things grow. As you continue to evolve your Citizen Developer Initiative, aim to create a self-sustaining culture of problem solving. Over time, the goal isn't just to have a community where members join training sessions or workshops. It's to have a network where people routinely turn to one another for advice and inspiration. Peer learning becomes the norm, and the community grows through cross-communication. One team showcasing how they built a data mapping tool in Power BI might inspire another team to take the same approach for a completely different problem. This constant exchange of ideas is what fuels long-term innovation. To maintain alignment with organizational priorities, it's important to periodically revisit how the program fits into broader business goals. Take a close look at metrics. Are your solutions addressing the company's biggest pain points, or are there new opportunities for your citizen developers to explore? Keep leadership involved by sharing regular reports on progress and highlighting areas where additional investment could bring exponential returns. Metrics tied to time savings, cost reductions, or process improvements show that the program isn't just surviving, it's thriving and directly contributing to the organization's success. Over time, these sustained efforts lead to something remarkable. A culture where citizen development isn't just a side initiative but a natural way of working. Employees see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities to innovate, and they feel empowered to build the tools they need to solve them. Leadership begins to view the community not just as a group of tech-savvy enthusiasts, but as a vital source of organizational growth and agility. Ultimately, sustaining a citizen developer initiative is about keeping the program dynamic. Tools and strategies will change as technology advances and organizational needs evolve, but as long as you focus on creating a sense of ownership, curiosity, and shared purpose, your community will continue to thrive. It's less about achieving a final state and more about continually adapting to ensure the program stays impactful and relevant. We've now explored the entire journey of becoming a citizen developer, from understanding the essence of the movement to building a scalable, impactful community. At this point, you've seen how defining your vision, engaging stakeholders, planning resources, and designing a collaborative framework all play into the bigger picture. You've also learned how promotion, engagement, and consistent improvement ensure the program grows and evolves. So where does that leave you? With all the tools, strategies, and inspiration you need to take action. Every automation built, every app created, and every challenge solved by a citizen developer is a step toward transforming not only how you work, but also how your organization thrives. Becoming a citizen developer isn't just about learning new tools, it's about transforming the way you solve problems and create value within your organization. Every app you build, every workflow you automate, and every solution you design helps shape a more efficient, innovative workplace. Start small. Define your goals clearly and take your first step today with the Microsoft Power Platform. The platform is designed to empower you, regardless of your technical background. The future of work isn't something distant, it's happening now, and you have the tools and creativity to make an impact. The power to shape it is in your hands.